So you got this officer riding around, right? He in his police cruiser. He doing what he do best, you know. He's looking out for crime. But he ain't no ordinary officer. See, this black dude right here, he's a black officer, by the way. He a crooked cop, you know. He'll run down on the gang members, you know, and tell them they gonna take him in. And, you know, next thing you know, the gang members pay him off and they let him go, you know, get some quick money like that, you know. Always want to go around hooking up with prostitutes, and, you know, he, you know, helps them get guns across the, you know, the border, wherever they at, you know. And, you know, basically he's keeping a low radar, you know. So, you know, this is like any other day. You know, he's joking with the colleagues. You know, he got the donuts, eating them coffee. You know, he clock out, take his badge off, everything's good. So, you know, he got on the black tee, something like what I got on right here. And now, you know, he ride back home. You know, he pop open. You know, he actually get some gin and juice, mix it together, drink. And, you know, he go back home to his wife. You know, next day, he wakes up, clocks in. And today's kind of slow, you know, it's rainy, so it ain't too much going on. So he's riding around and he spots, you know, he's getting, you know, he pulls over. He act like he running cars down with his thing, you know. He really ain't doing it. He got his windows up. He in there snorting. So he sits there for about another hour on his phone, and he says, you know what, I'm trying to get some action. So he rides around, you know, the sketchy part of town, and then, you know, come to California. So, you know, he goes on a certain part of town, and he actually ends up getting, you know, he sees this girl sprung out, passed out. So he wakes up, tell her he's on arrested, you know, gets her in the car, whatever. When he gets to the private spot he's at, y'all, he gets out the car, and as soon as he grabs her, the girl wakes up, starts tripping, and starts grabbing for his gun. So he mushes her on the back of his car, and she hits her head and breaks her neck, falls down. So now this girl's just sitting there with her eyes open, looking at him, just dead. And he's like, oh man, what am I gonna do? And then he realized his body cam's on. He heard him, cuts it off. He's so tweaked out, he forgot to cut his body cam off, y'all. So now what he does is he loads her back up in the car. He looks around. He drives to the cemetery, and, you know, he basically throws her body out. He goes back home. He goes straight in the garage. He takes his clothes off, throw it in the bag, cleans it, because that's where the washer and stuff is, outside in the garage. He cleans it. You know, for weeks, he's playing it off to his wife like everything's cool. And he's drinking. You know, he's not showing up to work on time. Then eventually, the boss calls him in like, hey man, what's going on? He's like, man, there ain't nothing going on, man, my bad. So they lay him off for 2 weeks. Now in the 2 weeks, he gets a news broadcast. He's sitting on his back porch one day. He got the TV in the backyard. He ends up seeing a body found in the cemetery. It's 3 days later, y'all. So now he's panicking. The forensics out there, you know, he just says he's not gonna do no drugs. He stops doing drugs. He goes back to work. A few weeks later, and he clocks in, everything. So now he's starting to see that the colleagues looking at him all funny, and, you know, one of his best friends that he jokes with every day say, hey man, the captain wants to see you in the office. He's like, all right. But he noticed it's already like 2 detectives in there, like 4 other officers. So when he goes in, they block the door. He say, sit down. So he says, we want to see, you know, what happened, you know, why your body cam was cut off. And it was little do we know is they already got all the footage. So he's lying like, man, I don't know what y'all talking about. So they say, okay, man, give me your badge. They throw him in cuffs. Now months go by. I guess he can't take it no more. He takes a plea deal. They basically tell him, hey, if you don't admit to it, they basically gonna throw you life. So he tells him, hey man, I did it. So you know, they end up giving him a light little plea deal. You know, he ends up getting 45 years. But yeah, man, that's crazy. He ended up, you know, killing the girl, you know, being a crooked cop doing bad things out here, man. But hey, if y'all like this story, like, comment, subscribe.